Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band. Video game movie club. Laughing till the credits roll. Joey Alex, Tim will dub. See them make you lose control.
It's really up there as one of the better themes that we have. It's great. Welcome back to Cutscenes. I'm joined as always by the ever-righteous Tim.
Hello.
And the ever-shrouded in mystery Joey.
Don't ask me how I am. I do think it's funny, Alex, that it's I think it's funny that you said it's one of our better jingles, although it doesn't have the correct name of the show on it.
No.
You know, that's neither here nor there. That's fine.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's my contribution for the episode, so I'll leave you guys to it.
The problem is our musician won't let us do a different version with the right title.
Yeah,
so expensive. How are we, gentlemen?
Good?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. Good. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Maybe.
Are we stalling before we talk about this movie? Because
I don't want to fucking talk about this movie.
oh, guys, it's been a lovely weather this weekend, hasn't it?
And it just.
Yeah, have you been?
We're here
able
to talk
get
about the
out?
Assassin's Creed film. We're not talking about the weather.
Oh.
I know we're British guys. Come on, but we can't talk about the weather.
Is there
all the
anything
time.
else more fun I can talk about? Like, I don't know. Maybe that was a bit too far.
Maybe that was a little far.
Oh, right. Okay, let's put a little note. Beep the word
Twice.
All right.
Right, anyway, yeah, we're here to talk about Assassin's Creed, the 2016 film starring someone whose name has completely just left.
Michael
Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
Probably one of the only redeemable things about this film, and it's not his acting performance.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very good here.
Before we get to these glowing reviews, Tim, Joey, what is your experience with the Assassin's Creed franchise as a whole?
Tim, can you go first? Because I know your answer. And
Yeah,
our old listeners will as well.
So I've played a couple of the games. I've played through 1, and I've played through 3, and I played through Black Flag, and I went back to try Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood, and there is a portion, maybe 20 or 30 minutes into the game, where you're escaping to the Florence or Rome or Sicily or somewhere, and you meet your uncle on the outskirts of the city, and he jumps out of a bush and says, "Ezio, don't you recognize me? It's a me, Mario," and I turned off the game because I didn't want to play anymore.
We had very different reactions to that scene, because the first time I had that, I had to pause the game because I was pissing myself laughing.
I was so angry. I wonder if it's more jealousy that I didn't think of it.
Wow. I've played through number 1, didn't complete it. Black Flag, didn't complete it. 2, didn't complete it. 3, didn't complete it. Valhalla, didn't complete it. I think that's it. I find these games are all about the trailer that Ubisoft put out for them and a set piece or a few set pieces. But I find that I think I got the furthest in the first one because it was a new way of Ubisoft presenting its game world. But if you play any Ubisoft open world game now, it's climb high thing, look around, jump off high thing, climb high thing, look around, jump off high thing, and I just didn't enjoy it. After a while, I found the gameplay was quite boring. So was looking forward to how they would do this in the movie. That intrigue and excitement waned very quickly. Alex, what about you? What's your experience with the games?
I think I've probably got the most experience then from the sounds of it. I played everything up to and including Revelations, so that's 1 Brotherhood, Revelations. I think there was something else in there. I skipped 3 because I don't care about the American Civil War. Played Black Flag because pirates are great. Skipped Unity because I don't care about the French Revolution. Never got a chance to play Syndicate, which is the London Industrial Revolution one. Played Origins because I quite like Egyptian mythology. Skipped Odyssey because I don't care about the Greeks. Played Valhalla because I like Norse stuff. And I think the problem is Ubisoft's release cycle now is so garbage and you force things out as quick as possible that the games they're all just it's the same game with a different skin now. Between the first 2 or 3 games, they had a couple of years between each game, but now it's every year it's a new Assassin's Creed. We've only just had Assassin's Creed Shadows come out, and I'm sure that in the next 6 months we'll get a gameplay trailer for the next Assassin's Creed, which will be out early 2026. They've massively dropped the ball with what was a good series.
Well, I've just posted an article in our chat here. I say an article. It's a forum post talking about a review because unfortunately the original review is now gone offline. But the article that was originally posted is called "Ubisoft the Game: The Review," and this is an article that was posted 10 years ago, and the issues that are still the issues that were present 10 years ago are still there today. So I'm looking at some of the sections here where it says Ubisoft, this is about 3 or 4 paragraphs into this thing. Ubisoft game is the story of main character, a gruff or sassy white man who's really good at parkour killing and killing while doing parkour. One of the iconic features of main character is the way he dresses. Main character's sense of style and flair comes across in his tailored outfit, which makes him look distinctive and features a number of clear symbols that can be easily used in marketing and merchandise.
So 10 years ago would have been
2015
Black
at this point.
Flag? Yeah, I know numbers. I think that would have been the release year for Black Flag, possibly 3. I'm just looking now. 2015, continue to site, don't allow ads.
2015 was Syndicate.
Syndicate, wow.
Yeah.
I was way off mark.
Yeah. And for this person to have been writing this article or review or whatever you want to call it, or satire piece, I assume Ubisoft would have been doing the same thing for a long time, which they have done. If you look at Far Cry, it's, climb tower, kill people.
Climb tree, kill
Climb
tower,
tree.
yeah.
Yep.
Kill
Assassin's
tower.
Creed, climb tower, kill people. The crew, even while it didn't have a climbing tower and killing people thing, what it did have was a reach tower to build map feature,
Yeah.
which is exactly what the towers do in Far Cry 3 and Assassin's Creed. And I get that it's a bit of a trope for Ubisoft games to do that, and it's a very easy mechanic to convey. A little creativity would have been nice.
But what you were saying about the yearly cycle of the game is the reason that we have this movie.
Yeah.
2016 was the first year. I think it was 8 games they released in a row. And then
9.
2016, 9. And then this year, they didn't have one. So they went, we'll make a movie. And in theory, if you think about the story of Assassin's Creed, which, Alex, I'm sure you'll get into, the theory is that this would make a good film and it would make a good story that's compelling and enjoyable. And it just doesn't, despite an arguably very, very strong cast with a lot of pedigree behind them. I don't understand how you can hit a home run so far behind you. It just baffles me.
It does boggle the mind a bit.
I just want to say as well that in 2016, when this movie released, one of the other things that they did release was an official colouring book.
Wow.
We love that, don't we?
Great.
Oh my god. Right, let's get into actually talking about the Assassin's Creed movie. It is a 2016 sci-fi action film based on the popular video game series by Ubisoft. I'd say it is popular but dwindling. It stars Michael Fassbender as both Callum Lynch, who is a modern-day man, and Aguilar de Neja, his 15th century Spanish ancestor. The movie is about his journey from being a man with no purpose to then embracing the assassin's cause, fighting to protect humanity's freedom and control. If you are someone who is familiar with the Assassin's Creed franchise at all, that will sound very familiar to just about every single main character in the Assassin's Creed franchise. Because obviously the whole backstory of Assassin's Creed is modern day people get put in computer to relive their history, an old ancestor of theirs, from a certain point in time, to find the Apple of Eden to destroy the Templars. That is every single game through history for the most part. I think there might be a few that diverge away from that a bit, but it's still that very similar modern day man, relive history, find thing, kill bad people. The film, much like the games, had very mixed reviews at the time. The main criticism, which I don't know if any of us can really speak on too much, the main criticism was the film was quite heavy and complicated if you weren't already familiar with the Assassin's Creed series, which is understandable because there's quite a lot of history between the Assassins Guilds and the Templars.
Well, there is, but I don't think it's as complicated as that.
It's good guy versus bad guy, really.
Yeah, good guys versus bad guys. What I thought was really trying to diverge away from the word stupid, but stupid, was they had this. It was basically a prison full of people who were somehow connected to the Templar. The Templar, the good guy? I can't remember.
No,
No,
it was
the Assassin's Guild.
Of course, the Assassin's Guild. So you have a prison full of people connected to the Assassin's Guild. Half of them know and want to carry on their assassin's ways for reasons, because their great 500th over grandfather told them to. And some of them are just there because they want to water the house plants in the prison. Like, I didn't understand what the dynamic with them was. And then towards the end, and sorry, this is where the spoiler comes in, there's a massive fight between the guards and the assassins. And the assassins are meant to have not only picked up their fighting style of their ancestor and be absolutely proficient in all this ancient weaponry, it's meant to have just been lying around in the prison the whole time. So if they really cared that much and wanted to protect the apple, just kill Michael Fassbender 10 minutes in. Yeah. And the film's over. And they made that clear that they knew that as well. I just didn't understand what the point in the whole film was.
I didn't understand the point of them being there. I didn't understand, and I'm going to get to this in my, I guess, expanded thoughts when we get to it eventually. I didn't understand the point of the Animus being the machine that Michael Fassbender uses to connect to his grandfather, being essentially a big robot arm akin to something you'd see on like a car assembly line or GLaDOS from the Portal games. But the thing I really didn't understand about this, and this is me thinking logistically about this machine, is in the Assassin's Creed games, you a generic guy who lives in the modern age and is supposed to be the kind of binding element for these games living in the modern age, basically just lies on a bed and puts on some VR glasses, and now they have adopted the role or the persona of the ancestor. Whereas this, they have to strap Michael Fassbender into a machine that flings him around a room as he mimics his ancestor. My question is, and this is what made the film a little bit funny to me, was assuming that Michael Fassbender starts kind of on the same height elevation as the grandfather, which no way they could. What happens when Michael Fassbender's grandfather, or ancestor rather, inevitably goes underground? The machine is just going to push him into the floor.
I think that the point in the Animus, Tim, was that it had a 3D spherical space which could be moved in. I understand what you're saying, but for the ones where he was 500 foot in the air, I don't believe that the machine was meant to be 500 foot in the air. I think it was meant to be imitating his falling by adapting the level of movement.
It gives the illusion of...
Exactly. But I understand what you're saying. It's stupid, but I think it's not quite
I
as
think
blockheaded as you're suggesting.
from a sort
Oh,
of
hold on, Alex. We can't hear Tim.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, yep,
Oh,
can
he's
you hear
back.
me now?
He's back.
I'm
yeah.
back. Yep, sorry.
Yeah.
But I think my point of it was that the immersion that they're trying to put Michael Fassbender through here doesn't. It feels very over-engineered, and I get that it wouldn't be as action movie if they just put him on a bed, but why is that such a bad idea?
I think. Sorry, I know, Alex. I know you're coming on to something here.
Go on.
Tim. I've not. The word never came to me at all watching this. But you've hit the nail on the head. This movie is over-engineered in every single element it can be.
Yep.
If you just stripped it back, the first Assassin's Creed game to me is the most memorable, and the scenes where it's the human, they're all humans. The modern day man, the modern man. He's just a bloke in jeans and a hoodie who goes to a medical facility and lies down on a bed. And the exciting stuff takes place in the past. You don't need the exciting stuff to take place in the modern day thing. Like, we all live in the modern day. What we want to see is the bit from the past where you're jumping off of buildings and assassinating people and riding horses in the desert. But I would say the split on this movie is probably 20% in the past,
Yeah.
and then 80% Michael Fassbender being angry in the present.
I feel like having the Animus being so exciting and animated as it is in the modern day takes away a lot of the sort of visual appeal of the action that's happening in ancient Spain. If obviously there needed to be some action in the modern day because of the final fight scene and the breakout of the prison, that is fine. If everything else in the modern day was Callum lying down on a bed or sat in a chair talking to someone, it would make those action scenes in the modern day stand out a bit more, personally.
I think, and this is my opinion, what they could have done is, in the start, he's in massive quote marks executed because of like horrible things he's done to people. Everyone believes
He
he's
was a
dead.
murderer.
And the lead doctor who runs the Animus says, "Well,
Jeremy
when we've got what no, Jeremy I's daughter says,
sorry.
when we've got what we want, you can go. You're free to go. I don't need you anymore." What they could have done is all of the stuff that they did. They go, "Oh, we need to find the Apple of Eden." They find the Apple of Eden. They go, "All right, Michael," and he goes, "Yes, sound. I'm done." He buggers off and walks into the sunset, and everyone thinks, "Oh, he doesn't care anymore." And then they do the scene where they go into the really weird bit where they're going, "I've got the Apple of Eden, aren't I great?" And then Michael Fassbender turns up as an assassin, kills him. You don't need all the build-up with him making amends with his father for killing his mum, making friends with all the other people in the prison. If you just had him show up in the hood, kill the guy, take the apple, jump out of a window like in the game, cut to black. That's all the action you need in the modern day for me.
And I suppose that brings the point that this movie's runtime is 2 hours on the nose.
Fucking hell, it felt like it and all. And
It really did. If they'd cut out 40% of the modern day bullshit, or bits from if they'd focused more on being an assassin and not him being a criminal on death row, we could have had an hour and a half long movie, an hour and 40 minutes of actual good quality movie. It just felt like there was so much filler for the sake of not really that much storytelling, because all you need to know about Michael Fassbender's character is
he has an ancestor.
He's got an ancestor that was in the Assassin's Creed. The Creed lives in his bloodline. The Templar, because the people running Abstergo are Templars.
Abstergo are the one who own the Animus, we should say.
Who own the Animus, yeah. So they are Templars who want the Apple of Eden for the sake of controlling humanity's free will to eliminate violence. Just explain that. Don't go through 30 minutes of him and of the leader and his daughter having a discussion about how to put fucking cufflinks on and how to write a speech.
Yeah, they
My-
really honed in on that writing speech thing.
My
Yeah.
my big issue with the Assassin's Creed games, for me, is the modern day stuff. I do not give a shit about man going to medical center and lying on bed. And I know there's a little more to it than that, but the main draw of Assassin's Creed is assassins in the past, right?
Yeah.
If you had an entire game of what was the assassin called from Assassin's Creed 1? It wasn't Ezio, it was Altair. If you had an entire game of Altair in just in the long time ago Israel as an assassin with very limited technology, that's a really interesting premise. You could do the same thing with Italy. You could do the same thing with the Revolutionary War in the States, which is obviously what they did for the past framework, but then they just have to throw in modern bullshit. And I was really hoping that the movie wouldn't fall into the same trap, but it did. Like the whole thing.
The advertising of Assassin's Creed 1, am I right in thinking that they didn't include any of the modern day stuff? And then
Correct.
day one, when it was out, everyone was like, what the hell's all this modern day simulation nonsense?
The thing is, the modern day in the Assassin's Creed series as a whole, the modern day stuff is important to knowing why you're jumping between civilizations, why you're jumping between timelines. But there's better ways to tell it than you are man who wake up in bed, go walk around a cave for a bit. They could have just had. They could have had like let's take Altair's story again, as Tim said. They could have had just the entirety of Assassin's Creed 1 is Altair running around wherever it is. I think it's ancient Israel, is it?
Yeah,
Did you
I
say,
think
Tim?
so.
And there's a voiceover like it's coming through on a monitor saying, "Oh, blah 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 blah. This is why we need to do this. Blah blah blah. Oh, look at that. Blah blah blah." Like a sort of like a phone call coming in type of thing.
Yeah.
To link it back to the modern day stuff and to tell that side of the story, because there are two sides to all these stories. There's what's happening with the modern day Templars versus Assassins, and whatever's happening with the Assassins versus Templars or whoever it might be in the previous day. But it's just they wanted to tell two stories and they didn't do it very well.
Have we told the story of this film? Yeah, I'm
Bits
so
and drabs.
I feel like I feel angry about it, but I can't, like my anger has clouded my judgment as to whether we've actually done the story. So, Alex, do you want to take us through the story?
Yeah, I'll do it really quickly because we've already covered the majority of the points. So, we start in 1492 Spain. Aguilar joins the Assassin's Brotherhood during the Spanish Inquisition times. He takes an oath to protect the Apple of Eden from the Templars. We then travel to 1986, somewhere in America. Young Callum Lynch, who is Michael Fassbender's character, finds his mother dead at the hands of his father. His father warns him to run and, quote, live in the shadows. Callum becomes a fugitive, setting up for his troubled life. We then jump to the present day. As an adult, Callum's on death row for murder. Instead of dying, he is secretly taken by Abstergo. So this is where they get all their prisoners. Everyone in Abstergo there is a death row prisoner.
And all mysteriously linked back to the Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Big coincidence, but okay.
We then get an introduction to Abstergo and the Animus. We meet Dr. Sophia Riken, who is the daughter of the CEO of Abstergo. What they want to do is relive Callum's memories as Aguilar to find the Apple of Eden. It's not told at this point that they are Templars, or what the reason for them wanting the apple is. We then have the first Animus session, which is the ancestor and Maria, his teammate, rescue a boy from the Templars. There's a big chase with heavy parkour and fighting, and then the ancestor starts to learn about where the apple is hidden. Joey.
I enjoyed the action sequence with the parkour and fighting and the saving
On the
of the
horses.
child. I thought it was good. This was like 25 minutes into the movie, though.
Yes.
Is this the one where they looked at each other and said, "We can't fall in love, otherwise they win"? and then he goes okay, and then they fall in love later.
Yeah, I
And
think
she
so. So
dies.
this is the season. Sorry, this is the session where the kid gets kidnapped by the Templars, and it's the jumping between horses.
Tim is biting his tongue so hard I can see blood.
It ends with him hanging off a cliff.
Yes.
Is this the time where I admit the copy that I definitely legally watched didn't have subtitles for any of the past?
Oh my god.
So
You
so
should've-
they went back to the past. I was like, oh, they're doing an artistic choice. I see. And then because most of the film was in the fucking modern day, I didn't know any better.
Tim,
It
you
was on
always.
Netflix.
It is on Netflix.
I don't have Netflix.
Tim, hold on. Walk this back. Think of legality.
I
You go on.
I
I'm not editing
Bought
it.
a DVD copy.
Yes.
And
off a man.
have watched it so many times that
The subtitles wore
out. There you go.
Yep, there we go. But yeah, I had no subtitles throughout any of the past, so I was just getting everything from context clues.
Of which they are terrible at,
Yeah.
by
Yes.
the way.
Right. And then we go back to the real world where Callum begins to experience
Sorry,
hallucinations.
Alex, can I just correct you? Spain is part of the real world. It's just
No,
it was
not.
old Spain. He's gone.
This movie's broke us. So Callum returns to the modern world.
Okay.
And he starts experiencing hallucinations known as the bleeding effect, where he sees his ancestor. That is a well-known part of the Assassin's Creed franchise. Go on.
Dumb.
Yep.
Really dumb.
I hate to tell the writers of this movie, but memories are not in genetics. They're the brain chemical reactions, essentially.
Yeah, it's electrons firing around the brain.
Real dumb.
And then Callum learns about the assassin's philosophy of protecting free will. Callum then learns that his father killed his mother to keep her from being exploited by Abstergo, because obviously, yes, Joey.
Sorry.
Dumb.
Is this dumb? Yes, but this is where we meet Brendan Gleeson, right?
I
Yeah.
laughed out loud when Brendan Gleeson was on screen. He was
Staring out the window.
So
dumbest casting choice.
there's two things about this. When they're in the prison, I actually didn't think he's a terrible casting choice. I thought he looked stoic. He looked like he'd been there for a number of years and he'd given up on life. Right. Happy with that. What I didn't get is when they put him in the fucking cloak and he looked exactly the same about 20 years earlier and he just looked like a miserable man from Ireland.
Well, the thing is, Callum is an American kid who was raised in Mexico, right? That's where the Brendan Gleeson killed the wife, the
Yes.
character, not the actor killing the wife. We then go to the prison several seemingly hours later in this movie, and we have Callum who's. I'm not going to say he's changed race because he is an American, like a white American man. But from what I remember, they definitely had a Mexican child playing the kid. So
I don't remember that too well, but
that could be my subtitles wearing out again.
yeah, of
but,
course.
But then to have Brendan Gleeson just have an Irish accent on him was
Hello
really
there,
Also
Cal.
be the
I did.
whitest man.
I did have to kill your ma because she was in the Assassin's Creed, and
She asked me to.
to be sure they're gonna kill him, so I had to kill her first.
But
It was a stupid reason.
But
it was
he's a part of the Assassin's Guild, and he is a podgy Irishman.
let's reel this back because I feel like we're disrespecting Brendan Gleeson here. Brendan Gleeson is a fantastic actor.
Incredible
Yes.
and in Bruges for a start.
Brilliant actor and very underrated. For this film, not so sure what he's doing there.
So the reason that he kills the mother is because it's the mother's bloodline that has the link to the Ancient Assassins Guild.
So why don't you kill the fucking son? Why kill the woman that you're married to? Sorry, that was very archaic of me.
He does explain that he couldn't.
Why kill the mother who you have a child with and are still with, so obviously have some emotional attachment to. You've gone, right, I'll end the bloodline, dead. And then you go, oh, actually, there's one more and he's my son. Oh, I'll just leave him. I'm sure they won't figure it out.
Maybe he thought the cargo crate that he fucking plowed into in the first 5 minutes of the film would kill him.
The reason, and what I think is the storytelling reason, trying to play devil's advocate here, is the mother was already part of the creed and understands her responsibility to protecting the free will of humanity. The kid is a kid.
So sorry. She was killed because she understood her role in protecting free will. He was left alive because he didn't understand his role in protecting.
Because he's a kid.
He's far more likely to give up what the Templars want because he's not part of the guild.
Potentially.
But the mum's gonna croak. Dumb.
It is dumb. There is no two ways around it. It is dumb.
I also really like the Assassin's Creed. The Creed's entire purpose in protecting free will is to remove someone's free will
by killing them.
The
thing is, as well, so this is probably, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this felt like it was an hour in, right? We're a long way into this movie now.
We're closer to the end.
Okay, hour and a half in. We're about 6 years into this movie, and Michael Fassbender's character has spent the whole time saying, well, if I find my dad, I'm going to kill him. And then they go, oh, well, who knows? Maybe you'll find your dad. And then he sees someone and he goes, you know, if ever I find my dad, I'm going to kill him. And they go, oh, well, maybe you might see your dad. So we go, oh, he's obviously going to see his dad. I wonder what's going to happen. He's going to kill him because he said 3 times now explicitly, I'm going to kill him. And his dad goes, hello there, son. I killed your ma because she was going to fucking talk to someone. And he goes, oh, all right then, here's some scissors. Go off and kill everyone else. Doesn't make sense.
Revealed the dad like something from the Jeremy Kyle show.
It was more like something out of Bullseye where they pull the thing back and they go, here's what you could have won.
It's your dad.
It's a very pale Irishman in the middle of America.
Again, to play devil's advocate.
No,
here,
don't do it. Don't do it.
None of that.
By this point, Callum has started to understand the creed. He started to understand the way of life. He's also started to realize that the people that are holding him are in fact the bad guys. So
what? It's the people that pretend to execute people and then throw them around a room strapped to mechanics against their free will are the bad guys?
Are you telling me the people that strap me to a machine that shakes me around like a paint shaker don't have my best intentions in mind?
Let me rephrase. He started to realize that the people that have captured him are the Templars that want to take away humanity's free will. And by Callum killing his father, he's kind of giving them what they want.
Why don't they just fucking kill him then?
They have him in prisoner, and on top of that as well, they at least in the games have the fucking idea to dress it up as, oh, we're doing research into genetics and DNA, not, oh, we're gonna shake you around like a wasp in a bottle, and then maybe you'll kill your dad from it.
Also, Brendan Gleeson, every single one of his acting performances, just tell him he'll die and he'll go, all right then.
All right, yep.
It doesn't matter.
We're going to Bruges, Brendan Gleeson.
Second session in the Animus.
Oh, God. Second session. Oh, wait, is this one where he does, Michael Fassbender does his Broadway audition just before it?
Probably.
Oh, right, yeah.
What?
So,
I sing I Want to Be a Part of It song or whatever.
He doesn't sing New York.
That's what I remember. I didn't have subtitles, I don't know.
Right. The Ancestor and Maria are captured by the Templars. Maria is killed by the Templar, but the Ancestor escapes with the apple. The Ancestor then hides the apple before disappearing into history. He hides the apple with Christopher Columbus. He gives it to Christopher Columbus.
And he says, take this to your grave, as if that's meant to be cryptic. And then the smartest woman on earth, so this movie's Dr. Eggman, turns around and goes, where's Christopher Columbus buried? As if that's not fairly common knowledge.
Yeah. There's an entire monument.
I'll be honest,
on
I
the
didn't know the
eastern
answer.
seaboard.
Do you know the answer now?
I do.
What is it?
Somewhere in Spain.
Seville. Come on, Alex.
That's
They
the
said
one.
it. They made it very clear in this film. We're
You wouldn't-
going to
you wouldn't-
Seville.
You wouldn't believe that I only watched this film about 4 hours ago, would you?
I actually would, because my brain glazed over when I started it as well.
So Callum it fully embraces his assassin heritage, and him and his little buddies escape the Abstergo facility.
Little buddies.
Somehow get to London, because they're in London at this point when Dr. Wright, like Daddy Riken, is presenting the apple. They're in London at this point, aren't they? How they got there? Don't know. Obviously, Dr. Riken flew in a helicopter. How the other guys got there is
Well, they're all
not
presumed
discussed.
dead as well. It's famously easy to travel the world if everyone thinks you're dead.
Yeah, especially over an entire ocean. They
you
crash
ever
the
considered
ceremony,
immigration
kill
by the
everyone,
dead?
take the apple, movie over.
Movie over. Sorry, Tim. What was that hilarious quip you said?
Have you ever just gone to immigration and said, I can go through, I'm dead already?
Oh, it works. Try it. Ever since Brexit, it's really worked.
So,
Yeah.
Oh my god,
gonna-
Payne I was watching this on the TV downstairs while Bob Payne was in the room, and there's, as we say, there's the scene where Jeremy Irons gets stabbed in the face or whatever in the Templar building in London, and I just said typical they'd have that scene in the knife crime capital of the world.
Well, yeah.
right. Final thoughts, gentlemen.
Fucking dumb. Don't watch it ever.
Can I say there's two scenes I enjoyed for very different reasons? One, we spoke about it very briefly. Why did Michael Fassbender's character burst into Crazy by Patsy Cline while being dragged to the Animus and then hoisted in the air still singing Crazy by Patsy Cline? I didn't get it. It was like he hadn't done any acting and had gone, oh, I need to add something to my show reel, so I'll just sing this at the top of my lungs. The other one, when he bursts out of the Animus as Altair, not Altair, oh my god, I can't even remember his name.
Aguilar or something
Angular,
like that.
thank you. As the Angular man.
Aguilar.
As Christina Aguilera. He does the very famous Assassin's Creed Eagle Dive, and
Yes.
he falls and falls and falls and falls and falls. And the point is that it's such a big fall, and it's so unexpected that it stretches the Animus beyond its capability. And I
And it
actually
dropped him.
thought it dropped him, and I thought because it dropped him during the simulation, he left the Animus with Christina Aguilera's memories, and I actually thought that that was a pretty cool way of explaining how he could be an assassin in the modern world. Once again, only applicable to him, not everyone else that escapes with him.
Yeah.
After how much I enjoyed it in the Sonic episode, I would like to know which character you would recast as Christopher Walken in this film.
Brendan Gleeson's character. At least he's
didn't-
American.
Yeah, your father.
Yeah, I'm your father,
Your
an
mother, sorry.
assassin.
I would recast him as Christopher Columbus. It seems the easiest one. Take
Yeah.
this apple of Eden and take it to your grave. I will travel to America. It's shoved up my ass.
My ass.
What if it was just Christina Aguilera? As
I wanna say
Christopher Walken as Christina Aguilera.
I want
We
to say
need to
one
stop this episode.
positive for this film. One positive. Some of the choreography was actually pretty well done in the fight scenes. There's one scene, and I don't remember exactly which one it is, but there's the assassin lady, and she's fighting about 3 people at the same time. Pretty well done, that scene, or that
Yeah.
sequence. I'm going to give him credit there.
And
And that's it.
to also give credit,
Yeah.
to also give a bit of other credit, while the storytelling mechanics of Assassin's Creed are a little bit
Shit.
dumb, a bit dumb to use Joey's words, at least this movie was relatively faithful to Assassin's Creed as a whole. Especially when you compare it to things like Monster Hunter, where you've got US Army, hoorah, go teleport to a different realm, or in Jake Gyllenhaal's
Don't
Prince of
spoil it.
Persia,
I'm sure we'll come on to that film soon.
where the only mention is at one point they go, "Ooh, the sands of time." At least in this film, they were faithful to the source material.
Ish.
Faithful to the source material. The problem is the source material wasn't the best.
I've just got a Letterboxd review here because Letterboxd has funny reviews of films. Someone's put on the 18th of July 2019, watching this, I remembered how they promoted the leap of faith scene as the highest stunt jump in movie history. And then the movie show looks like a fake guy jumping into digital soup. I know for a fact that this film does not hold the record for the highest stunt jump in history. Catwoman does.
Yeah.
Right. Before we
on this week's episode of the Fanatic
rabbit hole of hell that we don't want to go down, can we just do... Alex, would you recommend this film?
No.
Tim?
No.
I would recommend it if you have a free Sunday and you've already gotten so bored that you cut your fingers and toes off. Then this might be something you want to consider, or you could do literally anything else.
Some people might say to you, if you're a fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, you should watch it. You absolutely should not. Those people are lying, or people hired by Ubisoft.
If you're a fan of Assassin's Creed, go and play an Assassin's Creed game.
R. Lopez on the 27th of March 2025 says, really puts the ass in Assassin. Ha, got him. Same goes for Michael Ass Bender's performance. Double got him.
Double got him. Well, there you go, Alex. If you need a subtitle for this one, double got him.
Double got him.
What are we doing next time on Cutscenes, boys?
Tim?
Oh, it's me.
Tim, we rehearsed this before we started. Come on.
Detective Pikachu, that's what we're doing. Thank you. See you then.
And what are we doing on the next episode next week, Joey?
We're doing Heavy Rain, which would be fun.
Yep.
We record everything in order, and you might notice that I'm quite stuffy now, and I'm not quite stuffy for Heavy Rain, but there might be quite stuffy again for the one after. So keep an ear out for our continuity. There you go.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Joey got the popcorn ready. Alex got the notes in hand. Tim's got puns that fly like confetti. They're your go-to movie band.